The email notification pinged at 2:47 a.m, jolting me awake. The subject line made my blood freeze. Urgent. Adeline's health. My name is Emily, and I haven't spoken to my sister Zuriel in 7 years. Not since the day she told me I was just the vessel, and should stay away from the daughter I helped her create. I stared at my phone screen, heart hammering. Adeline, my biological niece. The little girl I'd never been allowed to meet, whose face I only knew from stolen glimpses of family photos posted by distant relatives who forgot to block me. The memories crashed over me like they always did when her name came up. Zuriel sobbing in my kitchen after her 6th failed IVF cycle, mascara streaking down her cheeks. Em, I can't do this anymore. The doctors say my eggs are just done. I'd held her while she cried, stroking her hair like when we were kids. What about donor eggs? We can't afford it, insurance won't cover it, and we've already spent everything on the other attempts. That's when I said it. The words that changed everything. Use mine. She'd pulled back, eyes wide. Emily, no. I couldn't ask you to. You're not asking. I'm offering. The process was hell. Hormone injections that made me bloated and emotional. Daily blood draws. Ultrasounds. The retrieval procedure that left me cramping for days. But seeing Zuriel's face when the doctor said they'd retrieved 18 viable eggs, worth every needle stick. When she got pregnant on the first transfer, we cried together. Happy tears for once. I'm going to tell her about you when she's older, Zuriel promised, hand on her growing belly, about her amazing Aunt Emily, who made this possible. 9 months later, Adeline was born, perfect and healthy, with my dark hair and Zuriel's green eyes. The whole family crowded into the hospital room, Mom, Dad, Bryce, even his sister Jennifer. Everyone cooing over this miracle baby, everyone except me. I stood in the corner, watching them pass around the child I'd helped create, feeling like a stranger at my own family reunion. Maybe you should head home, Mom said quietly, not even looking at me. Let the new family have some space. But Emily. Zuriel's voice was different now, colder. Mum's right, this is overwhelming enough. I left. Like an idiot, I left. The real conversation happened 3 days later. Zuriel had called, asking me to come over. I thought she wanted to thank me properly, maybe let me hold Adeline. Instead, I found Mom, Dad, Zuriel, and Bryce sitting around their dining table like a tribunal. We need to discuss boundaries, Mum announced. What kind of boundaries? Zuriel couldn't meet my eyes. Emily, what you did was incredible. But now that Adeline's here, we think it's best if you step back. Step back from what? From her life, Bryce said bluntly. This could get confusing for her as she grows up, having 2 mother figures. I laughed, but it came out bitter. Mother figures? I'm her aunt. Biologically, you're more than that, Mum said. And that's the problem. The room spun. Are you seriously asking me to pretend my niece doesn't exist? We're asking you to let us be a normal family, Zuriel whispered. Normal. Like I was some kind of aberration. You used me, I said, the words scraping my throat raw. You offered, Bryce shot back, because I love my sister, because I wanted to help. And you did help, Mum said, like she was talking to a child. You were the vessel that brought Adeline into this world, but that part's over now. Vessel. Like I was some kind of container they'd rented and returned. I looked at Zuriel, waiting for her to defend me, to remember that I was her sister, not just some anonymous donor. She stared at her hands. That was 7 years ago. 7 years of being unfriended on social media. 7 years of family gatherings I wasn't invited to. 7 years of watching my niece grow up through Christmas photos posted by relatives who forgot I existed. 7 years of being erased. Now at 2:47 a.m, Zuriel needed me again. I opened the email with shaking fingers. Emily, Adeline is sick. Very sick. We need to talk. Please call me. Zidar. I set the phone down and stared at the ceiling. Part of me wanted to delete the message and go back to sleep. Let them handle their normal family problems without the vessel. But Adeline was 7 years old and sick, and despite everything they'd done to me, she was still my niece. I picked up the phone and started dialing. The call went straight to voicemail. Of course it did. Zuriel probably didn't even have my number saved anymore. I tried again. This time, she picked up on the first ring. "Emily?" Her voice was hoarse, like she'd been crying for hours. "I got your email. What's wrong with Adeline? Can you come over? Please? I can't do this over the phone. Zuriel, it's 3 a.m. I know, but the doctors, they said we need to move fast, and I didn't know who else to call, and..." "Slow down. What did the doctors say?" A shaky breath. "Just come over, please." I hung up and stared at my reflection in the dark window. 7 years of silence, and now she needed me again. The smart thing would be to wait until morning, make her sweat a little. But a 7-year-old was sick. I threw on clothes and drove across town to the house I used to visit every Sunday for family dinner. The house where I'd been uninvited from Adeline's first birthday party, where I'd dropped off Christmas presents that were never acknowledged. Every light was on. Zuriel opened the door before I could knock, and I barely recognised her. She'd lost weight, her hair was unwashed, and her eyes were red-rimmed and desperate. "Thank God you came." Behind her, I could see Bryce pacing in the living room, phone pressed to his ear. Mum and Dad sat on the couch, looking older than I remembered. "What's going on?" I asked, not moving from the doorway. "Come in, please. Sit down." "I'm fine standing. Talk." Zuriel's face crumpled. "Adeline has something called hereditary angioedema. It's genetic. Life-threatening." "What does that mean?" Bryce ended his call and walked over. "It means she has these attacks where her throat swells shut. She can't breathe. The last one nearly killed her." My stomach dropped. "How long has this been happening?" 6 months, Mum said quietly. "We thought it was allergies at first." 6 months? I stared at them. "And you're just telling me now?" "We didn't think..." Zuriel started, then stopped. "You didn't think what? That I'd care? That I'd want to know my niece was dying?" "That's not fair," Bryce snapped. "Fair!" I laughed, but there was no humour in it. "You want to talk about fair?" "Emily, please," Dad said, speaking for the first time. "We need your help." "My help with what?" Zuriel wiped her eyes. "There's a new treatment. Experimental. But it requires biological material from blood relatives, specifically from whoever donated the eggs." The room went silent, except for the ticking of their grandfather clock. "You need me to donate something else." "It's not like before," Zuriel said quickly. "Just blood draws, maybe some tissue samples. The doctors think it could save her life." I looked around the room at these people who'd cut me out of their lives like I was a tumour. "So let me get this straight. For 7 years, I've been persona non grata. But now that you need my DNA again, suddenly I'm family." "You've always been family," Mum said. "Bullshit." "The word came out harder than I intended. You told me I was just a vessel, remember? That my job was done." "We were protecting Adeline," Bryce said. "From what? From knowing she has an aunt who loves her? From confusion," Mum said. "From complicated family dynamics." "The only thing complicated here is your selective memory." Zuriel stepped forward, tears streaming. "Emily, I know we hurt you. I know we made mistakes. But please, she's just a little girl. She doesn't deserve to suffer because of what we did." "What you did?" I looked directly at her. "Say it. What did you do?" Her mouth opened and closed like a fish. "Say it, Zuriel." We pushed you away." "Why?" "Because..." She glanced at Mom, who gave her a sharp look. "Because we thought it was better for everyone." "Better for who?" "Not for me. Not for Adeline, apparently, since she needs me now." "We were wrong," Dad said quietly. "Were you? Or are you just saying that because you need something from me again?" The silence stretched until Bryce cleared his throat. "So will you help her or not?" I studied his face. No apology, no acknowledgement of the pain they'd caused. Just expectation that I'd roll over and be useful again. "I'll think about it." "Think about it?" Zuriel's voice cracked. "Emily, she could die." "Then you should have thought about that 7 years ago when you decided I wasn't family." I turned toward the door. "Where are you going?" Mum demanded. "Home, to think." "How long do you need?" Bryce called after me. I paused with my hand on the doorknob. "I'll let you know. On my terms this time." I walked out, leaving them with their desperation and their consequences. For the first time in 7 years, I held all the cards. I called Jessica at 8 a.m. sharp. She'd been my friend since college and now ran her own family law practice. If anyone could help me navigate this mess, it was her. Emily? What's wrong? You sound terrible. I need a lawyer and a friend. Can you do coffee in an hour? Of course, the usual place. An hour later, I sat across from Jessica at our favourite cafe, hands wrapped around a mug like it was a lifeline. I told her everything. The egg donation, the banishment, last night's desperate plea. Jessica listened without interrupting, her expression growing darker with each detail. Jesus, Em, your own family did this to you? And now they want me to save their asses again. What do you want to do? I pulled out my phone and opened the notes app. I made a list. Jessica leaned forward as I read. First, full public acknowledgement that I'm Adeline's biological aunt and that I donated the eggs that created her. Posted on every family member's social media with a public apology for excluding me. Harsh but fair. What else? Second, regular, unrestricted access to Adeline. Weekly visits, holidays, birthdays, everything I've missed. Reasonable. Keep going. Third, a written apology from each family member detailing exactly what they did wrong and why they're sorry, to be posted publicly. Jessica whistled low. You're not messing around. I'm not done. Fourth, I want to be listed as Adeline's emergency contact at school and with her doctors. Fifth, they pay for my therapy to deal with the trauma they caused. And if they refuse, I met her eyes. Then Adeline doesn't get her treatment. Jessica sat back. Emily, that's a sick child we're talking about. A sick child I've never been allowed to meet because her parents decided I was inconvenient. I get it, but... Do you? Do you really? My voice rose, and other customers turned to look. I lowered it. They used me like a broodmare, then threw me away. Now they want to use me again and expect me to just smile and comply? Jessica held up her hands. Okay, you're right. They treated you horribly. But we need to be strategic here. Push too hard and they might find another way. There is no other way. The doctors were clear. They need biological material from the egg donor. That's me. Then let's draft this properly. Make it legally binding. We spent the next 2 hours crafting a contract that would make Satan himself proud. Jessica kept trying to soften the language, but I pushed back every time. This isn't about being nice, Jess. This is about consequences. By noon, we had a document that would either get me everything I wanted or blow up my family completely. I was okay with either outcome. My phone buzzed as we left the cafe. Zuriel. Emily, please call me back. Adeline had another episode this morning. She's in the hospital. I showed Jessica the text. Perfect timing, she said. Strike while the iron's hot. I called Zuriel from the parking lot. Emily, thank God. Can you come to the hospital? The doctors want to meet with you. I'm not coming anywhere until we discuss terms. Terms? What terms? I'm sending you a contract. You, Bryce, Mum and Dad all need to sign it before I lift a finger to help. Silence then. A contract? Emily, this is our daughter's life. And this is my life. The one you destroyed 7 years ago. What kind of contract? The kind that ensures I'm never treated like garbage by my own family again. Can't we just talk about this like adults? We tried that 7 years ago. You chose to exclude me instead. Another pause. What's in the contract? Everything I should have demanded then. Read it carefully. All 4 of you need to sign, or no deal. Emily, please. I'll give you 24 hours to decide. I hung up and sent the contract to Zoriel's email. Jessica shook her head. You're really going nuclear. They went nuclear first. I'm just returning fire. My phone rang immediately. Zuriel again. I declined the call. It rang again. Mum this time. Declined. Then Bryce. Declined. Finally, Dad. Against my better judgment, I answered. Emily, sweetheart, can we please just sit down and talk about this reasonably? I am being reasonable, Dad. For the first time in 7 years. These demands, they're so public, so humiliating. Not as humiliating as being erased from your own family. We never meant... Yes, you did. You absolutely meant it. You all sat around that table and decided I was disposable. That's not how it happened. Then how did it happen, Dad? Because from where I'm sitting, you all chose Zoriel's comfort over my existence. He was quiet for a long moment. The contract, some of these things, your mother will never agree to a public apology. Then I guess Mum values her pride more than her granddaughter's life. That's not fair. Fair went out the window 7 years ago. This is about consequences. And if we sign, you'll help Adeline. I'll do whatever the doctors need, but only after you sign. All of us? Every single one. No exceptions. Another long pause. I'll talk to them. You have 23 hours and 47 minutes. I hung up and looked at Jessica. Think they'll sign? She grinned. Honey, you just back them into a corner with a dying child. They'll sign. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Aunt Emily, this is Jennifer, Bryce's sister. We need to talk. I met Jennifer at a diner across town, away from prying family eyes. She looked nervous, constantly checking her phone and glancing at the door. Thanks for coming, she said, sliding into the booth across from me. What's this about, Jennifer? I barely know you. That's exactly the problem. She pulled out her phone. Emily, I need to show you something. But first, you have to promise me this stays between us. I'm not promising anything until I know what we're talking about. She hesitated, then turned her phone toward me. These are text messages between Bryce and Zuriel from right after Adeline was born. I read the first message from Bryce. Mum's right. Emily needs to back off. This is getting weird. Zuriel's response. She's my sister. She helped us. Bryce. She's the egg donor. There's a difference. What happens when Adeline starts asking questions? My stomach twisted as I scrolled through more messages. Zuriel. Maybe we can just limit her involvement gradually. Bryce. Or cut it off completely. Clean break. Better for everyone. Zuriel. I don't know. Bryce. Your mum already talked to my mum about it. They both agree Emily's getting too attached. There's more, Jennifer said quietly. I kept reading. Messages about how to handle the Emily situation. Plans to slowly phase me out. Discussions about changing their social media privacy settings so I couldn't see photos of Adeline. The worst was a message from Mom to Zuriel. Emily always gets too involved in everything. This is your chance to set boundaries before it becomes a problem. I set the phone down, hands shaking. How long have you had these? Bryce left his old phone at my house last year. I was going to give it back, but then I saw these messages and I couldn't believe it. Why are you showing me this now? Jennifer looked uncomfortable. Because what they did to you was wrong. And because, she paused, because I think you deserve to know it wasn't some spur-of-the-moment decision. They planned it. All of them. Your parents, Zuriel, Bryce. They had meetings about it, Emily. Actual family meetings where they discussed how to get rid of you. The diner suddenly felt too small, too hot. Meetings. I wasn't invited, obviously, but Bryce would come home and complain about how Emily doesn't understand boundaries and how your mom was finally taking charge of the situation. Jesus. There's something else? Jennifer scrolled to another conversation. This is from 3 months ago when they first found out about Adeline's diagnosis. Bryce to Zuriel. We're going to have to call Emily. Zuriel. I know. I've been dreading it. Bryce. Think she'll help after everything? Zuriel. She has to. It's Adeline. Bryce. What if she says no? Zuriel. Then we'll figure out how to make her say yes. I stared at the screen. Make me say yes. They've been planning this approach for months. The tears, the desperation, the family guilt trip. It was all calculated. Why are you telling me this? Jennifer met my eyes. Because I have a daughter too. And if someone treated me the way they treated you, I'd want to know the truth. My phone buzzed. Zuriel calling again. I declined it. They're panicking, Jennifer said. Bryce has been on the phone all morning trying to figure out how to manage you. Manage me. His words, not mine. The phone buzzed again. This time it was a text from Zuriel. Emily, please. Adeline is asking for you. She saw your picture and wants to know why you never visit. I showed Jennifer the message. That's interesting, she said. What do you mean? Adeline asking about you. They told her you were too busy with work to visit, but if she's asking now, she knows something's wrong. Kids aren't stupid. She probably overheard them talking about needing to contact you. Another text from Zuriel. The doctors want to start treatment tomorrow. We need an answer. I typed back. Have you signed the contract? The response came immediately. We're still discussing it. Then you have your answer. My phone rang. This time it was Dad. Emily, your mother is having a hard time with some of the contract terms. Which terms? The public apology. She says it's humiliating. Good. And the social media posts. She doesn't think the whole world needs to know our family business. The whole world already knows your family business, Dad. They know you have a perfect granddaughter and a happy family. They just don't know how you got there. What if we compromise? Private apologies instead of public ones? No. Emily, no compromises. Sign the contract as written or find another donor. There is no other donor. Then I guess you better start convincing Mom that her pride is worth less than Adeline's life. I hung up and looked at Jennifer. Think I'm being too harsh? She shook her head. I think you're being exactly as harsh as they deserve. My phone buzzed with another text, this one from an unknown number. Aunt Emily? This is Adeline. Mommy gave me her phone. Are you really my aunt? Why haven't I met you? Jennifer saw my face change. What is it? I showed her the message. Oh shit, she whispered. They're using her now. I stared at the text from a 7-year-old girl I'd never met but had helped create. A girl who was sick and confused and asking questions her parents couldn't answer. Yeah, I said, my voice hard. They are. I stared at Adeline's text for a full minute before typing back. Hi, sweetheart. Yes, I'm your aunt. I've wanted to meet you for a very long time. The response came immediately. Why didn't you? Mommy says you were busy, but that seems like a long time to be busy. Jennifer leaned over to read. Smart kid. Too smart, I typed. It's complicated, honey, but I hope we can meet soon. I'm in the hospital. It's boring. Will you visit me? My heart clenched. I'll try. Promise? Before I could respond, another message appeared. This is Zoriel. Please don't text my daughter directly. I showed Jennifer, who rolled her eyes. Of course they're monitoring her phone. I typed back to Zoriel. Then stop using her to manipulate me. We're not manipulating anyone. She genuinely wants to meet you. After 7 years of you making sure that never happened. Emily, please. Can we just focus on helping her get better? Sign the contract. We need more time. You've had 7 years. Figure it out. I put my phone on silent and looked at Jennifer. I need to do something that's going to make your brother very unhappy. What? I'm going public. That evening, I sat at my laptop and wrote the post that would change everything. 7 years ago, I donated my eggs to help my infertile sister have a baby. It was one of the most difficult and painful processes I've ever endured, but I did it out of love. When my niece was born, my family decided I was too confusing to have around and cut me out of her life completely. I wasn't invited to birthdays, holidays, or family gatherings. I was blocked on social media so I couldn't see photos of the child I helped create. For 7 years, I've been treated like I never existed. Now my niece is seriously ill and needs medical treatment that requires my biological participation. Suddenly, I'm family again. Suddenly they need me. I've agreed to help, but only if they publicly acknowledge what they did and apologise for it. Because our actions have consequences, and I'm done being treated like a disposable vessel. If you're thinking about becoming an egg donor for a family member, make sure you get everything in writing first. Make sure they understand that love and biology don't just disappear because it's convenient for them. I posted it on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, tagging every family member I could find. The response was immediate and explosive. My phone started buzzing within minutes. First, friends and co-workers expressing shock and support, then strangers sharing their own stories of family betrayal. The post was being shared faster than I could track. Then came the angry calls. Emily, what the hell have you done? Bryce's voice was tight with fury. I told the truth. You've humiliated us. My colleagues are calling me. Zoriel's friends are texting her. This is insane. Good. Maybe now you'll understand how I felt being erased from my own family. Take it down. Now. No. Emily, I'm warning you. You're warning me? You're the one who planned to cut me out before Adeline was even a month old. Yeah, I know about the text messages, Bryce. Silence. Jennifer told you. Jennifer told me the truth, something you all seem allergic to. You don't understand the pressure we were under. I understand perfectly. You were under pressure to maintain your perfect family image, and I was inconvenient. That's not... Sign the contract, Bryce. Or watch your reputation get worse. I hung up. Mum called next. Emily Marie, you take that post down this instant. No. People are calling me. Mrs. Henderson from church wants to know how we could treat our own daughter that way. Maybe you should tell her. This is nobody's business but ours. You made it their business when you decided to erase me. Now they get to see what kind of people you really are. You're destroying this family. You destroyed it 7 years ago. I'm just showing everyone the wreckage. She hung up on me. The post kept gaining traction. Local news picked it up. A blogger wrote about family dynamics and egg donation ethics. Someone started a hashtag, Mewge Justice for Emily. By midnight, I had over 1,000 comments and messages of support, people sharing their own stories of family betrayal, others calling my family monsters. At 1 a.m, my phone rang, Zuriel sobbing. Emily, please. People are saying horrible things about us. About me, they're calling me a monster. Are you? What? Are you a monster, Zuriel? Because monsters use people and throw them away when they're done. I never meant for it to go this far. Yes, you did. You meant for me to disappear completely. You just didn't expect consequences. The hospital staff saw your post. They're looking at us differently. Like we're terrible people. You are terrible people. Emily, please. I'll sign the contract. We all will. Just take down the post. Too late for that. The internet is forever. What do you want from us? I want you to face the consequences of your choices. I want you to feel a fraction of what I felt for 7 years. And Adeline? What about her? I'll help Adeline, but the post stays up. People are calling for boycotts of Bryce's business. His partners are furious. Maybe he should have thought about that before he decided to destroy his sister-in-law's life. She was quiet for a long moment. You've changed. 7 years of being treated like garbage will do that to a person. I'm sorry. Are you? Or are you just sorry you got caught? She hung up without answering. I looked at my laptop screen, watching the comments and shares continue to climb. For the first time in 7 years, people were seeing me. Really seeing me. And they were furious on my behalf. It felt better than I'd expected. The signed contracts arrived by email at 6 a.m, along with a flurry of social media posts from each family member. I read them over coffee, savouring every humiliating word. Mum's post was the shortest and most bitter. I owe my daughter Emily a public apology. 7 years ago, our family made the wrong decision to exclude her from our granddaughter's life after she generously donated eggs to help her sister. Emily deserved better from us. I'm sorry. Dad's was longer, but felt rehearsed. Family is everything, and we failed Emily when we should have celebrated her. Her selfless gift gave us our granddaughter, and we repaid her kindness with cruelty, but I'm ashamed of my part in this, and sorry for the pain we caused. Bryce's was clearly written by a lawyer. I apologise to Emily for my role in a family decision that caused her significant emotional distress. Her contribution to our family should have been honoured, not dismissed. But Zuriel's broke something inside me. Emily, my sister, my hero, I'm so sorry. You gave me the greatest gift imaginable, and I threw you away like you meant nothing. You meant everything. You are everything. I was scared and selfish and wrong. I don't deserve your forgiveness, but I'm begging for it anyway. Please come meet your niece. She needs you. We all need you. My phone rang immediately. Jessica. Holy shit, Em. Have you seen the comments on their posts? Not yet. People are not buying the forced apology thing, especially your mums. Someone commented, this reads like a hostage note. I laughed despite myself. Because it basically is. So what now? You won? Now I go meet my niece. The hospital was a 40-minute drive. I sat in the parking lot for 10 minutes, hands shaking. 7 years of imagining this moment, and now it was real. Zuriel met me at the elevator, looking like she hadn't slept in days. Thank you for coming. I'm here for Adeline, not you. She nodded, tears already starting. She's been asking about you all morning. I showed her your picture and she said you have the same eyes. We walked down the paediatric hallway in silence. Outside room 314, Zuriel stopped. Emily, before we go in, she doesn't know about the egg donation. She just knows you're her aunt who's been away. Away? I didn't know how to explain. The truth would have been a good start. Zuriel opened the door and my breath caught. Adeline was tiny in the hospital bed. Dark hair spread across the pillow, pale but alert. When she saw me, her face lit up. "Aunt Emily!" I walked over slowly, afraid I might cry. "Hi, sweetheart." "You do have my eyes. Mommy was right." She struggled to sit up. "Are you really my aunt? Like, for real? For real? Where have you been? I've been 7 for months and I never met you." I glanced at Zuriel, who was staring at her hands. "I've been working far away." "What kind of work?" "I'm a scientist. I study how to help sick people get better." Her eyes widened. "Like me?" "Maybe." "I'm going to try to help you, okay? Promise?" "I promise." A doctor knocked and entered. "Ms. Emily." "I'm Dr. Martinez." We spoke on the phone. "Yes, hello?" "Adeline, your aunt is going to help us with your treatment. Isn't that wonderful?" Adeline beamed. "She's a scientist." Dr. Martinez smiled. "She is indeed. Emily, could we speak privately for a moment?" We stepped into the hallway, leaving Zuriel with Adeline. "The treatment protocol is aggressive but promising," Dr. Martinez explained. "We'll need blood samples, tissue samples, and possibly bone marrow if the initial treatments don't work. Whatever she needs. The family mentioned there was some complexity around your involvement." I looked through the window at Adeline, who was showing Zuriel something on her tablet. "That's been resolved." "Good. Children do better when the whole family is involved." When we returned to the room, Adeline was arguing with Zuriel about lunch. "I don't want hospital food. It's gross." "You need to eat something, baby." "Can Aunt Emily bring me food? Real food?" Zuriel looked at me helplessly. "Emily doesn't know what you like. I like pizza, and ice cream, and those little crackers that look like fish." I laughed. "Goldfish crackers?" "Yes, those." "I think I can manage that." "Really?" Adeline's face lit up again. "Really, but only if you're good for the doctors." "I'm always good for doctors. Ask Mommy." Zuriel nodded. She's been incredibly brave. For the next hour, I sat beside Adeline's bed while she told me about school, her friends, her favourite movies. She was smart and funny and completely unaware of the war that had been fought over her existence. When visiting hours ended, Adeline grabbed my hand. "Will you come back tomorrow?" "If you want me to." "I do." "And can you bring the fish crackers?" "Absolutely." "And maybe, could you stay for dinner sometime? At our house? I want to show you my room." I looked at Zuriel, who nodded quickly. "Of course you can come for dinner." "Yay!" Adeline clapped her hands. "This is the best day ever." Walking to the elevator with Zuriel, she finally spoke. "She loves you already." "She doesn't know me." "She knows enough. You have the same laugh." "Zuriel, I know you hate me. I know I don't deserve forgiveness, but thank you for helping her, for being here." The elevator doors opened. "I'm not doing this for you," I said, stepping inside. "Remember that." As the doors closed, I saw her nod, tears streaming down her face. In the parking lot, I sat in my car and finally let myself cry. 7 years of grief and anger and loss, all pouring out at once. But underneath it all was something else, something I hadn't felt in years, hope. Adeline wanted me there. She chose me, and for the first time since this nightmare began, that felt like enough. 3 weeks into Adeline's treatment, I was at the hospital every day. The experimental therapy was working, her episodes were less frequent, less severe. But the real victory was watching her face light up every time I walked into her room. "Aunt Em!" She'd started calling me that on day 2. "Did you bring the good jello?" "Orange, just like you asked." "You're the best aunt ever." The words hit me every time. 7 years of being told I wasn't really her aunt, and here she was, claiming me completely. Zuriel sat in the corner chair, watching us with an expression I couldn't read. She'd been quiet lately, withdrawn. The public humiliation was taking its toll. "Mommy, can Aunt Em come to my birthday party next month?" Adeline asked, spooning jello into her mouth. Zuriel's face went white. "Your birthday?" "Yeah, I want her to meet my friends, and I want to show her my treehouse." "Of course I'll come," I said, not looking at Zuriel. "If your mum says it's okay." "Mommy?" Zuriel's voice was barely a whisper. "Yes, of course." My phone buzzed. Jennifer texting, "Turn on Channel 7 News, now." I excused myself and found a TV in the waiting room. The local news was running a story about family dynamics and egg donation, using my viral post as a case study. They'd interviewed bioethics experts, family counsellors, even other egg donors. The emotional complexity of these arrangements is often overlooked, one expert said. When family members are involved, clear boundaries and ongoing communication are essential. Then they showed clips of my family's forced apology posts, with a reporter noting how stilted and reluctant they appeared. My phone rang. Mum. Are you watching this? Yes. They're making us look like monsters on television. You are monsters. Emily, this has gone too far. People are recognising us at the grocery store. Your father's co-workers are asking questions. Good. It's not good. It's humiliating. Now you know how I felt. We apologised. We signed your contract. What more do you want? I want you to live with the consequences of your choices. For how long? Forever, Mum. That's how consequences work. She hung up. When I returned to Adeline's room, she was asleep. Zuriel was staring out of the window. The news story, she asked without turning around. You saw it? Bryce called. He's furious. His business partners are threatening to buy him out. That's unfortunate. She turned to face me. Is it enough? The humiliation? The public shaming? Is it enough revenge for you? This isn't about revenge, isn't it? I looked at Adeline, peaceful in her hospital bed. It's about consequences. It's about making sure this never happens to anyone else. You've destroyed our family. I didn't destroy anything. I just showed everyone what you already destroyed 7 years ago. Zuriel's voice broke. I lost my sister. No! You threw away your sister. There's a difference. I was scared, okay? I was scared that if Adeline knew the truth, she'd love you more than me. I stared at her. What? You're everything I'm not. Smart, successful, independent. I was terrified that once she knew you were her biological mother, I'm not her mother. Biologically, I'm her aunt. I donated eggs. That's it. But what if she didn't see it that way? What if she chose you over me? So you chose to make sure she never had the option? Zuriel nodded, tears streaming. I'm a terrible person. Yes, you are. Can you ever forgive me? I looked at her for a long moment. I don't know. But I'm not doing this for your forgiveness. I'm doing it for her. 2 days later, Dr. Martinez called with the news we'd been hoping for. Adeline's latest tests showed significant improvement. The treatment was working. She can go home next week, he said. We'll continue with outpatient therapy, but the worst is behind us. I found Adeline in the playroom, building a tower with blocks. Guess what, sweetheart? What? You get to go home soon. She jumped up and hugged me. Really? And you'll still visit me? As much as you want, every day. If your parents are okay with that, they have to be okay with it. You're my aunt. That evening, I was cleaning out my childhood bedroom at my parents' house, something I'd been putting off for years, when I found a shoebox hidden behind old textbooks. Inside were dozens of letters, all addressed to me in Zuriel's handwriting. The postmarks started 3 months after Adeline was born and continued for 2 years. I opened the first one with shaking hands. Emily, I made a terrible mistake. I miss you so much. Adeline has your smile, and every time I see it, I think about how wrong I was. Please call me. Please forgive me. Zed, the second. I tried to call, but you changed your number. Mom says I should leave you alone, but I can't. I need my sister back. Adeline needs her aunt. The third. I drove by your apartment today, but couldn't bring myself to knock. I'm a coward. I'm sorry. I love you. There were 43 letters total, all intercepted, all hidden. I walked downstairs where Mom was watching TV. What are these? She looked at the letters and her face went pale. Emily, you kept them from me. For 7 years you kept them from me. She was confused, emotional. It was better. Better for who? For everyone. You were moving on, starting fresh. I was dying inside. You were fine. You had your job, your life. I had nothing. I lost my sister, my niece, my family. Because it was better that way, I said at her. This woman who'd given birth to me but never really known me. You orchestrated all of this. The exclusion, the silence, everything. I protected this family. You destroyed it. I walked to the door, letters clutched in my hands. Where are you going? To show Zuriel what you really are. Emily, don't! But I was already gone. At Zuriel's house, I found her packing Adeline's things for the hospital discharge. I need to show you something. I handed her the box of letters. She opened the first one and gasped. Where did you get these? Mum's house. Hidden in my old room. Zuriel sank into a chair, reading letter after letter. She told me you never responded. She said you wanted nothing to do with us. I never got them. Oh, God. Emily, I'm so sorry. I thought you hated me. I did hate you, because I thought you'd abandoned me completely. She looked up, tears streaming. We were both played. Yeah, we were. For the first time in 7 years, my sister and I cried together, but some things, once broken, can never be fully repaired. Adeline's 8th birthday party was everything I'd missed and more. She insisted I sit next to her at the head of the table, introducing me to every friend as my Aunt Em, who's a scientist and saved my life. The other parents knew who I was. My story had made enough rounds in their social circles. Some looked at Zuriel and Bryce with barely concealed judgment. Others whispered behind their hands. Can you help me blow out the candles, Aunt Em? Adeline asked, her face glowing in the candlelight. Of course, Batty, sweetheart. We blew them out together and she hugged me tight. I wished for you to be at all my birthdays from now on. That's a good wish. After the guests left, Adeline dragged me upstairs to see her room. It was exactly what I'd imagined. Purple walls, stuffed animals everywhere, drawings taped to every surface. This is my favourite, she said, pointing to a crayon drawing of stick figures. That's me, Mummy, Daddy, and you. In the drawing, she was holding my hand. When did you draw this? Last week. I drew it before I met you, but I knew you'd have dark hair like me. Zuriel appeared in the doorway. Adeline, time to get ready for bed. Can Aunt Em read me a story? Zuriel hesitated. If she wants to. I'd love to. After Adeline fell asleep, I found Zuriel and Bryce in the kitchen, cleaning up party debris in tense silence. Thank you, Zuriel said quietly, for being here. For everything. She's my niece. Bryce looked up from loading the dishwasher. Emily, I know things between us will never be normal, but I want you to know I regret my part in this. Do you? Or do you regret getting caught? He flinched. Both, probably. But seeing Adeline with you, she's happier than I've seen her in months. She's not sick anymore. Of course she's happier. It's more than that. She talks about you constantly. Aunt Em said this. Aunt Em taught me that. You've given her something we couldn't. What's that? Unconditional love without guilt. Zuriel shot him a sharp look, but he continued. She doesn't have to worry about disappointing you or living up to your expectations. You just love her. That's what aunts do. Not all of them. Not like this. My phone buzzed. A text from Dad. Can we talk, please? I showed it to Zuriel. He's been trying to reach you? Every day since you found the letters. Are you going to call him back? I don't know. Mom's not doing well, Zuriel said quietly. The community backlash has been intense. Good. Emily, no. Don't ask me to feel sorry for her. She orchestrated this entire nightmare. She's still our mother. She stopped being my mother the day she decided to erase me from this family. Bryce cleared his throat. What happens now? With us, I mean. I looked around their kitchen, at the family photos covering the refrigerator. 7 years of memories I wasn't part of. Now you live with the consequences. All of you. And Adeline. Adeline gets to have her aunt in her life, like she should have from the beginning. What about forgiveness? Zuriel asked. What about it? Do you think you'll ever be able to forgive us? I considered the question. I don't know. Maybe someday. But forgiveness doesn't erase consequences. Meaning? Meaning your reputation is shot. Your marriage is strained. Your friends look at you differently. That doesn't go away just because I might eventually forgive you. Zuriel nodded. I know. And Mum? She's going to die alone and bitter, wondering why her daughters don't visit. Emily? She made her choice. Now she gets to live with it. My phone rang. Lance, my boyfriend, checking in. How was the party? He asked. Perfect. Adeline loved it. And the family drama? Still dramatic. But Adeline's happy, and that's what matters. You sound different. Lighter. He was right. For the first time in 7 years, I felt complete. Not healed. That would take time. but whole. I got what I wanted, I said. Revenge, recognition, acknowledgement, my place in this family. Was it worth it? I looked through the kitchen window at Adeline's treehouse, lit up with fairy lights. Ask me in a few years. When I got home, there was a package on my doorstep. Inside was a photo album titled Adeline's First 7 Years with a note from Jennifer. Thought you should have these. Every page showed moments I'd missed. First steps, first day of school, Christmas mornings, lost teeth. 7 years of a life I'd helped create but been forbidden to witness. At the back was a recent photo of Adeline and me at the hospital, both of us laughing at something on her tablet. Someone had written underneath, Aunt Em and Adeline, finally together. I closed the album and picked up my laptop. My original post had been shared over 50,000 times now, with hundreds of comments from people sharing their own stories of family betrayal and redemption. I started typing a new post. Update. My niece is healthy and home. The experimental treatment worked and she's going to be fine. More importantly, she knows who I am now. She calls me Aunt Em and wants me at every birthday party from now on. To everyone who shared their support, thank you. To everyone who shared their own stories, you're not alone. And to anyone thinking about cutting a family member out of their life, remember that actions have consequences. Sometimes those consequences last forever. My family learned that the hard way. They thought they could use me and discard me without repercussions. They were wrong. They taught me I was just a vessel. Turns out I was the storm. I posted it and closed the laptop. Tomorrow I'd pick Adeline up from school and take her for ice cream. Next week she'd sleep over at my apartment for the first time. Next month we'd go to the Science Museum together. 7 years late. But finally, I was exactly where I belonged. In my niece's life, on my own terms, and that was worth every battle I'd fought to get here.